Okay, folks, it is 4:30, time for the show to begin.
Start the meeting. We're going to call the meeting at 4:30. Roll call. Secretary Chair here, Judy Vice Chair. Sharon Burnett is member. Here. Thank you. Joan.
Here.
Jessica. Here. Andrea. Here. Thank you. 3.1, pledge of allegiance to the flag. Please, all stand up. Jessica.
Hand over your heart, ready to begin?
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. 3.2, consider approving or amending the agenda as submitted. Motion. Sharon, motion. Seconded by Judy. Do we have the amendment? Do we have to modify? Number 10.
So just to let the commissioners know, the applicant that was appealing the public employee appointment for plumber, he did withdraw his appeal. So that can be removed from the agenda.
Okay, so, anyone wants to motion to amend the agenda by removing number 10? Or are we going to continue the first motion and just make the,
We are already in a motion for that's right, the 3.2, we're on that motion, we've opened it. So since we've opened it, we've got to finish it before we go to the one.
Correct, so you've opened the motion, so what you can say is now that you are motioning to remove item 10 of the closed session?
No, we opened for 3.2. I said, she seconded, now we're ready to discuss 3.2. I would rather
Okay.
finish that.
Okay.
Because that's what we motioned for.
Okay, go ahead.
And then we'll go to the 10.
okay,
Please.
all right. So we will have a vote on this motion.
I, for me.
All in favor, please say aye. Okay. And then we talk about the number 10.
Okay.
All right. So with that number 10 item, closed session, being suggested to be removed, can I have a motion of that? Is that a motion to remove number 10? Motion by Sharon and second by Judy.
Can it be only?
No, 10, both A
Okay,
and B.
all right.
Okay. So, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. 3.3, introduction of guests. I would like to ask Joan to do that for me, because I know you know more than that. I don't want to make mistakes, so go ahead.
I don't want to make mistakes either. We have Sharon Carrillo, CSC, our president.
Welcome.
Of course, Dennis Bixler's here. We have Reggie
CSEA.
Robertson. Okay, I don't want to get it wrong. Steve Bowie from Transportation, our director. We have Leila Hernandez, she works in IT. And we have Maurice Curtis, our driver and instructor trainer, and we have Mr. Humphreys here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. All right, 3.4, communications. Remarks are limited to 3 minutes unless extended further or limited by vote of the Personnel Commission. A maximum of 20 minutes unless extended by the Personnel Commission is allocated for each subject discussed. Ordinarily, Personnel Commissioners will not respond to comments and no action can be taken. However, the Personnel Commission may give direction to staff following a comment. A, CSEA comments?
I'll just comment when we talk about the job description.
Okay, thank you. Number B, District Administration, Mr. Dixon.
No.
Thank you. Number C, audience members who filed a request to speak on an item not on the agenda. Okay, so. All right, questions from the floor on items that are on the agenda will be entertained at the time the item is under consideration. Remarks are limited to 3 minutes unless extended further or limited by vote of the Personnel Commission. Number 4, report from the Personnel Director. Joan, please, take over. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. So our recruitments have been open since our last commission meeting include the Instructional Assistant 2 series, the Library Assistant and Library Assistant Bilingual Spanish, Primary Intervention Assistant and Primary Intervention Assistant Bilingual Spanish, Stock Delivery Worker, and Translator Mandarin. We conducted the following exams since the last commission meeting. We did Cafeteria Lead Worker 1, we did a written test and a structured interview. Campus 8, we did a written test and structured interview. Personal Care Assistant, we did a structured interview. And Plumber, we did a performance test and a structured interview. We sent the following referral list out since the last commission meeting for Health Assistant, Instructional Assistant 1, Instructional Assistant 2, Office Assistant, and Office Assistant Bilingual Spanish. We processed the following employees into their new classifications since the last meeting. We have 1 custodian, 5 custodian subs, 1 district patrol, 3 instructional assistant 2s, 1 office assistant, 2 personal care assistants, and 1 school bus driver. Updates and reminders, we're going to have the Employee of the Year celebration is going to be held at the Diamond Bar Center on Wednesday, May 15th, 2019. Invitations will be going out shortly. I was asked to go out with the district administrators with the Employee of the Year, and that was really exciting to go out and see with Sharon and Mr. Wexler. And it was exciting to go out to transportation because they had an Employee of the Year, one of their bus drivers got the award. And then, so it was very exciting for transportation. They had a big group of people out there, and we got to ride a bus to the different schools. And then we went to one of the schools where the teacher was represented, and then we went to another school where a principal got Administrator of the Year. So I think you all got the email from Gina Ward. So it was really an exciting day full of balloons, flowers, and excitement, and cake over in transportation. So. And the upcoming annual Classified Employees Day hosted by us, the Personal Commission, will be held on Wednesday, May 22nd from 11:30 to 2:30. We are in the process of planning the event with a Pirates theme, Ahoy Métis. Save the dates are gone out throughout the district, and Andrea was good enough to send out to all the Squabas managers to get the RSVPs, so we have an accurate count of who will be attending our lunch.
Great. Okay. Got it. Thank you so much. Okay. Number 5, hearings, none. Number 6, Personnel Commission 6.1, approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 5th, 2019, on reference 6.1. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Judy and second by Sharon. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any comments or questions? 7.1, receive for information the proposed Personnel Commission budget for the 2019 and 2020 fiscal year. It's on reference 7.1, and they're the same as the one that you gave us today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's the same. Right now, what we do is the commissioners are seeing this, well, they received the agenda 3 days ago, or back on, well, actually a week ago, because I sent it before spring break. So they're reviewing it, seeing where I got the numbers. Basically, the only difference is asking for step-in column step-in column increases for payroll, and also PERS is going up, again, as we all know. So that hurts, well, the district is contributing like 20% now, instead of, it went up from 17% last year. So that's reflected in the increase in payroll. I'm asking for the same discretionary budget that we use as well. Oh, the last thing is I did gather the numbers together myself with our own payroll numbers, our own budget numbers. I did compare it with what fiscal gave me, and I did meet with both Aubrey and Corey in fiscal to review the numbers to make sure that they understood where I got my numbers from as well.
All right. Thank you. Any questions? Comments on the budget? 7.2, authorize the transmittal of the proposed budget to the Board of Education and CSEA for input, and schedule a hearing on the budget for May 7th, 2019. Can I have a motion, please?
No, second.
Judy motioned it, and Sharon seconded. Can I have a vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. 7.3, advanced salary replacement. Number A, consider approving the advanced salary step request from Michael Tinkup, Director of Special Education, to employee applicant ID number 283246666 in the class of Instructional Assistant 2 at Step B of Range 16 on the classified salary schedule. It's on reference 7.1A. Can I have a motion, please?
Second?
Judy, motion, and second by Sharon. Any questions, comments? None. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Number B, consider approving the advanced salary step request from Michael Tinkup, Director of Special Education, to employee applicant ID number 376-92358 in the class of Instructional Assistant 2 at Step B of Range 16 on the classified salary schedule, reference 7.1B. Can I have a motion, please?
Second?
Motion by Judy and second by Sharon. Questions, comments? None. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Number C, consider approving the advanced salary step request from Rocky Batar, Director of Race, RC, to employ applicant ID number 37271522 in the class of Office Assistant at Step C of Range 17 on the classified salary schedule, reference 7.1C. Can I have a motion, please?
No, second?
Motion by Judy and second by Sharon. Question, comments? None. All in favor, please say aye. Aye, motion carried. Number D, next page. Consider approving the advanced salary step request from Michael Tinkup, Director of Special Education, to employ applicant ID number 23178094 in the class of Instructional Assistant 2 at Step B of Range 16 on the classified salary schedule, reference 7.1D. Can I have a motion, please?
Second?
Motion by second, motion by Judy and seconded by Sharon. Thank you. Comments, questions? None. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Number E, consider approving the advanced salary step request from Aubrey Craig, Director of Fiscal Services, to employ applicant ID number 9707739 in the class of Office Assistant at Step E of Range 17 on the classified salary schedule. It's on reference 7.1E. Can I have a motion, please?
Second?
Motion by Judy and second by Sharon. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Number F, consider approving the advanced salary step request from Steve Boyd, Director of Transportation, to employee applicant ID number 2271155 in the class of school bus driver at Step C of Range 19.5 on the classified salary schedule. It's on reference 7.1F. Can I have a motion, please?
Second?
Motion by Judy and seconded by Sharon. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. 7.4, reallocation. Consider approving the recommended reallocation from Michael Tinkup, Director of Special Education, of a vacant staff services assistant position to a senior account clerk. It's on reference 7.4. Can I have a motion to open discussion, please?
Second?
Motion by Judy and second by Sharon. Okay, any questions, comments? This is on reference 7.4. Double check my notes here. It's a vacant position, correct?
Yes, it's vacant.
Okay, so if there's no question, I don't have any questions. So if there are no questions, we're gonna go for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. 7.5, revised class description, salary changes. Revised class description and salary changes. Okay, number 8. Consider approving the revised job description for the classification of guidance assistant and the title change to behavior support assistant. So we have to add a support correct?
Well, yeah, so probably read it as it is on the agenda, and then you can open the motion and then have a discussion about the need to add, or the reason why we want to add the word support.
Yeah, because we just got it today. Okay. All right, can I have a motion to open this item, please?
Second?
Motion by Judy and second by Sharon. And as I understand, we received a new revised description of the title. It's now reads as Behavior Support Assistant instead of just Behavior Assistant. So,
So I will ask Ms. Landine to speak to this, because I know Mr. Bixler and Ms. Landine and Mr. Bixler can speak as needed as well. But they had a meeting with we invited all the incumbents of guidance assistant to a meeting last Thursday during spring break. And if they had any questions, we mailed them their job description and invited them to a time when they could come and discuss any of the changes that were being made to this job description. My understanding is one person attended, and during that meeting, it was addressed different things. So I would like to defer to Jessica or Mr. Bixler to speak to it.
Ladies first.
Just working on my other.
So let's defer to Mr. Bixler as the reason for, there's been some talk in the district about students that we have that are in our schools, obviously, that are at risk and need for additional guidance. And so they had a board meeting, which I'll have a special study session, and Dennis can speak to that as to why the need of this position exists and why the changes were recommended for the position. And if you could speak it to the mic, that'd be great, because then we can pick it up for the minutes.
So thank you for taking this up today. The position of guidance assistant has been in the district for many years, and in reviewing the needs for assisting teachers with students who are exhibiting behaviors which need additional support, the guidance assistant position has been a position that has been in use in a number of schools. We've got about 5 schools which use guidance assistants currently, and each of those schools has been using the guidance assistant in a slightly different manner to meet the individual needs of the school and the students that attend there. We've made a decision to further support all of our elementary schools by providing an employee, classified employee, to be at each of the elementary schools and K-8s, 5.5-hour basis funded by the district, in order to support teachers with individualized needs of students. And when we were doing this, we looked at the position of guidance assistant and worked to make sure that the language that is in that position really reflected the needs and current language that is in use when it deals with student behaviors. The position of guidance assistant was very, very close in all the areas. And there were only actually a few duties that were actually added, but when you really look at what those bold items are that were added, they're in absolute alignment with what the original job description was, and just provides greater clarity. When we met with Sharon and I, and Jessica met with the incumbents last week, we asked for their input. They loved it. She absolutely thought that what we were adding to this job description matched exactly what she does. And actually, she had submitted retirement paperwork, and I thought, wow, with greater numbers of this position in the district, would have allowed for greater collaboration and training and things like that, which are absolutely true. And but she is looking forward to retirement. So the feedback from the principals that looked at it, the feedback from the employees that looked at it, looked like it's a winner. So.
Okay, and I would just like to say that, that CSEA totally supports this, so we're very happy and to have this and have it updated as well, because we know that we have some students that do have challenges, and this will meet their needs, so we do support this fully. There was just one thing, I was just looking here right now, like in the distinguishing characteristics, where it's bolded, it says behavior assistance. Are you gonna, does that need to have support added to that?
Yeah, so
Okay.
what I did is because I didn't want to make changes to the whole description without getting approval, I just did a quick little change at the top here with this, but yeah, as I was telling Ms. Lundy, when we get back, we'll make sure if it's approved to add the word support, we'll add it in every area, but that's a
Okay.
good catch, yeah.
All right, okay, thank you.
And, I mean, you might speak to why, I mean, to add the word support, it does make sense to me, but I don't know if there's any.
It's just a natural. That was one of the pieces that came from, I think it was the principal when we talked with Ryan Cummins. That makes absolute sense, because you're there to support students in their behaviors.
I only have one little question here is, I saw the summary of duties and we crossed out the previous description. The previous one says provides a variety of supportive guidance services to at-risk of referred students, parents, and staff. So since we crossed them out, and it seems that we're concentrating on the students now, so does that mean, I don't know why they put parents and staff there before, but is that we still be concerned about at-risk parents or at-risk staff for this position? Does this,
The focus is on students.
Students, of
The
course,
focus is on
yes.
students and assistant staff. And, you know, we always have a partnership with parents, so the ancillary with this is always assisting parents, because as we learn about how to better serve a student who's exhibiting challenging behaviors, we share that information with the parents, so that we've got hopefully a team that will work with consistent feedback and support for that child. But the primary summary of the duties is better aligned with the way that it's written.
all right, I just want to get clarification. Thank you. Any questions? Any revised description? Okay, then if not, we're gonna go for the vote. Before we go for the vote, then we have to make sure that we add the support
Mhm.
onto this agenda,
So-
this item.
Yeah, so just amend the motion to,
I'd like to make a motion that we add the word support to the title as a behavior support assistant as indicated here.
All right.
Anywhere else it is system or it needs to be support.
Second that? Motion, the new motion would be, by Sharon, and then, second by Judy. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Okay. 7.5B, consider approving the revised job description of the classification of bus operations supervisor and title change to transportation services supervisor. It's on reference 7.5B. Can I have a motion to open the discussion?
Wait a minute, that's what we just
Number B.
voted to add support, now we have to do it to the whole position itself, correct? Somebody open up?
No, we already finished
But
that.
that was just to add support, not.
Right. Right.
We were amending the support, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Now
just
we're gonna-
amended this.
Now that it's amended, we are gonna approve the support, not the name, but all the changes.
But
Well, it is a change, it's just the support. Either way.
I thought you made motion to make that change, so that change is being already worded in, correct? I saw Andrea nodding her head.
I think Cheryl, Ms. Hernandez was trying to say is that she amend to change the
Not to
the
vote
wording
for the
on the
position.
agenda to behavior support assistant instead of a behavior assistant. So that's her motion, not the whole thing.
But I thought Sharon said that we needed to put in the support
I
onto
just
every.
amended it just to, the amendment is just saying, I want to add support to this thing, we approved it. Now we go back to with the amended thing saying, how about considering the revised job description, which is only the support, right? No,
So-
there were some other changes.
Yeah,
That's
so,
what I'm saying. We got-
so the motion, on the agenda, it's considered approved, it's one and the same. We were revised, considered to approve the revised job description for the class of guidance assistant and the title change to behavior assistant. Okay, so that's what you opened the motion. And then you made the recommendation to add the word behavior support assistant. So we're just taking that to mean the same, you're approving the classification of guidance, the changes, and then the title change to behavior support assistant. So what I think is that you worded the motion just perfectly, and then they approved it already. Okay?
All right, so we're good, and we're gonna be go on to the number B, and I'm gonna read one more time. Consider approving the revised job description for the classification of bus operations supervisor and title change to transportation services supervisor. Reference 7.5B. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll second.
Okay, so a motion by Judy and second by Sharon, and discussion, questions, comments? 7.5B.
I just have a question. The reason I think we changed from bus operations to transportation, I think it's more appropriate define the position and all the works that department's doing. And can you give us some examples other than the bus? What else is included, the vehicles or the transportation services included?
There were, the changes that were made are in the position in general.
Yeah.
In general. So the transportation services supervisor works under the direction of the director of the position. And so he's in charge of overseeing all of the day-to-day operations within the transportation services department, which involves managing all the licenses for all the drivers. As you know, there's various licenses that an employee has to keep up, along with the classes, the hours. They deal with the CHP directly when they come in to do the inspections. They deal with all of they deal hand in hand with the mechanics with regards to making sure that the buses also maintain their services regularly. So they do a lot of tracking. They deal with the employees. They also help to support the office with regards to the dispatching, because they currently only have one dispatcher, so they relieve in the afternoon. It's an essential piece because of how large the department is and how much there's to keep track of on a regular basis. So you'll see one of the key pieces that was added was supervision of the mechanic shop. Previously, there was a supervisor position before that was not filled when the incumbent left previously. And so this person is now going to be in charge of overseeing the shop as well. So this is additional supervision, staff, and a whole new area of responsibility that did not exist prior. So that's one of the reasons that we're recommending for the increase in salary. The scope of the position is changing. It's going to be
And, well, the name change of transportation services, it makes sense because Steve Bowie is the director of transportation services. So we wanted to encompass, just like he encompasses his whole department, the supervisor will be a supervisor of the whole department.
Does this include like other service vehicles, like?
The white fleet is also repaired by the mechanics, sorry. So yes, in addition to making sure that the buses are being maintained regularly, they're also work with scheduling all the vehicles as well.
Yes, that's correct. All the white fleet and also the power tools.
Do you know, how many is in our white fleet? We have
The white fleet is approximately about 50, 51. That's not including power tools. Including power tools, we're over 120. That's including the tractors and everything else. We also source that. Because the department consists of four One is the
You
training.
want to come up a little bit? Yeah,
Um,
we'll make sure.
The reason for the change is because the transportation department is comprised of four sections, which is the trainer, the operations, which is the dispatcher who will oversee the drivers, the administrative, which does payroll, and then also you have the maintenance, which is the mechanical piece of it. And so the duties is increased.
What I'm trying to ask is that, I know that before we were emphasizing on the bus, because that's, we use bus to transport students, to school or field trip, everything. What I'm trying to ask is that, currently, does the department still, does the department cover other vehicles, like, other trucks, or say, what I had in mind, vans, everything else, like patrol vehicles that we have?
Yes,
is
the
also-
department maintains all the vehicles within the district.
Mhm.
That's for building services, the safety department, IT, nutrition services. We handle all the maintenance of it.
I see.
And also all the power equipment that we use for landscaping
Mhm.
and anything else that within the building services that utilizes.
Okay.
We fix
Pretty
all
much
of
if
it.
it's got a motor and wheels,
Mhm.
they're responsible.
Okay, yeah, that's what I had in mind, but I think it's, after, with all the explanations, additional information, I think it makes much more sense for us to approve the changes.
Yes.
Yeah, the other thing that has changed in the department is they used to have a supervisor in the mechanic shop, and a few years ago, we made that a lead mechanic, and there's still two mechanics. So without a supervisor, they were reporting directly to Mr. Bowie as well, instead of having a supervisor located in the mechanic shop.
Thank you.
I see where it says councils and evaluates bus drivers, so is he gonna be housed in that area, or are you gonna be putting them?
They can be housed in the same office area.
Okay. Now, I know there was talk, because we're saying anything with a motor, so that doesn't necessarily, never mind, I'm going somewhere else.
All right, any other questions or comments? If not, we'll go for the vote. None? All right, let's go for the vote then. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Number C, consider approving the salary recommendation for transportation services supervisor at confidential/supervisory salary range 31. It's on reference 7.5C.
A second?
Motion by Judy and second by Sharon. Any comments on the salary recommendation? The schedule is on reference 7.5C. There's no change that after the schedule. It's the same schedule.
Yeah.
All right. Questions? Okay. Let's go for a vote. All in favor with the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Number 8. Next page. Examinations, eligibility lists. 8.1, exam review and recruitment bulletins, reference 8.1. Receive the following information, a summary of the following examinations and recruitment bulletins. Number A, instructional assistant 2. B, instructional assistant 2, bilingual Spanish. Number C, instructional assistant 2, bilingual biliteral Spanish. Number D, library assistant. E, library assistant, bilingual Spanish. F, primary intervention assistant. G, primary intervention assistant, bilingual Spanish. H, senior account clerk. I, stock delivery workers. Thank you for sending this information for us. Bless. 8.2, employee selection results. Receive the results of the examinations held. It's on 8.2. Yeah, 8.2. Again, this is no voting needed. So, okay, 8.3, ratification of eligibility lists. Ratify the following eligibility lists on reference at 8.3. A, grounds construction worker. B, instructional assistant 1. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll second.
Motion by Judy and second by Sharon. Questions, comments? None? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carried. 8.4, removal of names from the eligibility list. Ratify the removal of names from the following eligibility list, reference 8.4. Number A, food service assistant 1. It's ID number 254271158 and ID number 3839835 pursuant to PC Rule 6.1.10 and 6.1.10.6. And number B, instructional assistant 2, ID number 10201267 pursuant to PC Rule 6.1.10 and 6.1.10.6. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Judy and second by Sharon. Any questions or comments? None. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Number 9, input or comments from personnel commissioners. Who wants to
Okay. First, I just want to say congratulations to all the employees of the years, including teachers, everything, and we really appreciate all the contributions and services you have provided for students, also for all the personnel in the district. And that's how we work together to take Rowland to the next level, and we really appreciate that. And also, I would like to say welcome back from your spring break. I hope everybody's ready to work harder. Thank you.
Again, also congratulations to the employees of the year. It's great to hear that they're being identified. It's something new, or is it, before it used to be a group of them, and then we, at the banquet, then they announced the winner of each?
Yeah, I think it used to be a surprise, right?
That was a surprise.
It used to be a surprise in those days at the banquet.
And then,
I think it was at the banquet, but we're going out with the balloons and the flowers.
It's a lot more fun.
It is so much fun, and they are totally surprised. And here we walk in, all these people and all this, and they're shocked. They love it. It's great.
And we saw the pictures and the videos and everything.
Well, over at Transportation, it was like that show where they redo the house, but it was like everybody was behind the bus and they moved the bus and there was a whole transportation group. It was really cute. I mean, he was really surprised.
again, we're off. We've had our restful week and welcome back, and thank you to the commission. The girls did a lot during that week. Nice, quiet, and a lot of testing and prep work. So thank you for that. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the classified breakfast. We're looking for, you never mentioned.
Lunch,
Breakfast, that's right.
Don't come too early.
I'll be there. I don't want to
You'll be here. We'll be here at breakfast.
looking forward to that, and I didn't hear, but I know we're gonna have our helpers, and I appreciate that.
We will definitely have helpers.
Is
I know.
welcome.
Yes.
And with that, everything seems to be going smoothly, so great.
Can I add one thing?
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing. I just love the McKee outside of the district office. It's such a excellent, brilliant idea that you put on there. And we just love it. Thank you for whoever, proposed that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, commissioners. Now I have nothing else to say. Yeah, that sign over there is really fantastic. I believe it's built by the building service. Is it there? Yeah, it's one.
I'm not sure.
Anyway,
It was actually overseen by one of our CSEA members, but it was actually built by some outside contractors.
I mean, a lot of the front in the lobby was done by our building services department. That whole, a lot of that area, I saw a lot of our staff out there doing work.
Yeah. And I also like to congratulate, of course, you and the employees of the year, and I look forward to that day. And we'll come back again after the spring break. And I want to thank the staff for doing the budget. I know it's a lot of work. You have to painstakingly check every number. So, and I hope that the budget would get approval or get ratified by the board. And thank you again. That's all for me. And next one, we don't have the closed session, so 11 is the next regular personnel meeting, commission meeting is scheduled on Tuesday, May 7, 2019 at 4:30 p.m. at the district office here at Fulton. Number 12, I guess adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll second.
Motion by Judy and second by Sharon. So the meeting is adjourned at 5:11. Thank you for coming.